Hi, Stephen from OWNorDisown. Look what just landed on my desk. It came all the way from Hidevolution. It's the Asus TUF505DU. And the starting price on my unit is $1,099. And for that, you get the a full HD 1080p panel, 120 Hz. It's IPS. Now it only says here it's 250 nits. It doesn't seem to be that bright, and it only says here 45% of NTSC. So I'm not expecting a super panel on here, but it's more of a budget-minded laptop. This. Now the video card on my unit has a GTX 1660Ti with 6 GB of VRAM, and that should perform pretty similar to a GTX 1070. You know, for that type of price point, I think that's pretty good. Anyway, that's what that GPU is supposed to be performing, something similar to that. There are other options available, of course. For $899, you get a GTX 1650 model, which performs about 20% behind a GTX 1060, 120 Hz panel, 8 GB of RAM, 512 GB SSD. Or you can go down to like for $600, you get 256 GB SSD, 60 Hz panel, 8 GB of RAM, and the AMD Rx560X, which will perform pretty similar to a GTX 1050. So, of course, HUD, what I've done here is upgraded the thermal interface. Now, from what I understand, watching Jared's tech video, because he reviewed pretty much the same laptop as this, the stock paste, it was averaging about 85 degrees Celsius. He didn't mention the peaks. The peaks are probably going to be in the 90s. So we'll see what the effect of a thermal grizzly conductor note would have on this. We do have dual channel RAM, 16 GB running dual channel. There is an M.2 slot, PCI Express, and by default it comes with 256 GB. Now, of course, if you configure it through Hidevolution, you can max that out. You can choose whatever you want there. Now, the 2.5-inch bay in here is, unfortunately, it's only a 5,400 RPM hard drive, but again, through Hidevolution, you can put in something decent, because that'll be a bit pokey, really, a bit slow. Wireless card. Now, this is a big concern for me. It's got a Realtek 8822BE. Now, I suspect that's the same one we saw in the Zephyrus G, and that was pretty slow. I was getting lots of lag in my games, and I was forced to have to... let's see what's in the box here. It's a very small box, I might like to add. Now, of course, it's a military standard 810 tested, and that means that it's been put through various tests of like humidity, temperature, shock, vibration. Did I say temperature? I don't know, but anyway, the various modes of testing there, just to see if it's rugged. I don't think I'll be doing the same testing, although I'd like to give it to test it, throw it off the table, see what happens. But there you go, that's that. And of course, you get with Hidevolution, they send a little USB drive here with the if you want to calibrate the display, they'll send that in for you as well, and a little pamphlet. Of course, you get the power cable. Now, it's a 180 watt power brick somewhere in here. Yep, 180 watt power brick. Very nice. So it's a plastic build. I mean, for this type of price point, I think what you expect. I'm not a great fan of the styling. You know, some people may like that, but it's pretty blah. But that there. So you've got quite an aggressive brush pattern here on the plastic. You know, it's the pattern there. You do have some air venting here to bring some air in there. Power button up here. The AWSD keys are highlighted there in white, and you do have a separate number pad, so that's nice at this price point. You do have that, and you got a button here to open the calculator. I think that's a nice little touch as well. And of course, as usual for the spacebar on your Asus laptops, it's made a little bit bigger to help you jumping there. The trackpad is plastic, but it seems fairly good. And you know, the stickers, it's got a big sticker, but it's pretty blends into the black theme there. Now the bezels are 6.5mm thick, and with a 77% screen to body ratio, so that's not too bad at all. And it looks like you do have a webcam here up at the top. Now underneath, you have quite a textured bottom. The feet are quite small. You'll see the feet here at the back are the same height as at the front. Seems a bit weird, doesn't it? That's not particularly normal. Now, often they would have their ergo hinge designed to lift it up, but not even on here. So the ventilation coming in here doesn't look as going to be too good, particularly when all around here is blocked off. Strange. Venting on the sides, you do have some here, but of course nothing on here. And you do have of course the two exhausts, but its intakes, I think it's going to be starved for air. So I don't know how much effect that conductor note's going to have on this. So on the left hand side we have the power connector, Ethernet port, HDMI, a USB 2.0 and two USB 3.1 Type A ports, and the combo headphone mic jack. And you'll notice here the speaker firing at the front but out the sides. So on the right hand side, of course, we have the speaker and the third air exhaust here with a Kensington lock. So ports are rather limited. Round the back you have two red anodized heat sinks here for the exhaust coming at the back, and you have some activity lighting here at the top, and you see the hinge is cut inwards like that. So weight, it's £5 2 ounces, so that's not too bad. And with the power brick, bumps up to £6 4 ounces. Now the keyboard has RGB lighting, not per key, and through the Aura software you should be able to have various different patterns, breathing, strobing, rainbows, so forth, but all I can seem to get is just a pulsating here, and I can't even change the color even though the software says I can. I've tried numerous updates, and in fact my laptop when it arrived didn't even have the Armoury Crate software, and that was a bit of a challenge to get on in itself, so that's a little bit disappointing. So to get inside you just have Phillips head screws, so it's nice and easy. It's plastic, it's very easy to come off, but there you can see the air intakes. It's very minimal, just here and here. Now once inside you do have the 48 watt hour battery, which I estimate will be around about 4 to 5 hours use, because the 3750H is very power efficient. Here you have the 2.5 inch bay for the hard drive, and you have of course dual channel RAM, 2 sticks of RAM. You have the GPU here and the CPU here, two shared heat pipes, between the CPU and the GPU, and of course the GPU has a separate heat pipe, and that has two heat sinks versus the CPU's one heat sink. Now the M.2 storage is here, and you'll notice underneath is where the Wi-Fi card, should you want to update that one. So here we have the Asus TUF505 and the Helios Predator 500, and I think the colours actually do look pretty good on here, and actually it is fairly reasonably bright as well. I can't see that much difference, but I do probably slightly prefer the Asus. And the panel itself is quite stiff, even though it's plastic. It's fairly thick and fairly rigid. Running AIDA64 CPU stress test, we see that the max CPU temperature is 70 degrees Celsius, and the current average is 54, and it's been running around about 20 minutes. Running AIDA64 stress test and Heaven benchmark for about 2 hours now. CPU is at 78 degrees, max of 79. It's fantastic. And the graphics card, the 1660 Ti, we got 69 degrees, max of 69 degrees. So running Heaven benchmark at max settings, Asus TUF505, 1660 Ti, and the Mech 17 with a RTX 2060. So the RTX 2060, 77 FPS, the 1660 Ti 70, so a 10% difference there. Alright, so there you have it. I do actually quite like it. I mean, I don't like the styling of the lid particularly, but it's solid, it's pretty thick, and it has that military standard testing, and it is certainly very durable. So people who say plastic laptops aren't that durable are incorrect. This certainly has quite a robust feel to it. And the keyboard lighting, of course it just changed colours, but whether it's something I'm doing wrong, I'm not sure, but it's, I couldn't get any of the software to work as intended, really, so that is a shame. The speakers, I did try them, of course, and they seemed fine. It's okay. The cooling, Jared's Tech mentioned that there's, generally is around about 85, 86 degrees on average. Mine was certainly cooler than that. Now, of course, I wasn't doing any gaming like Battlefield 5 or Far Cry 5 or something like that, but I was stressing the CPU and the GPU at the same time there, you know, and we're looking pretty cool there. So I was quite impressed with that. The fan noise didn't seem too loud either, and that was on the turbo mode I had there. Getting access inside, very easy. Taking this back panel off, and I mean, I was a bit scared with the lack of cooling going in here, but you know, having that repaste certainly did seem to help there, I think. The Wi-Fi card is accessible under the SSD, which is at least is good. So that's not bad. Now, ports wise, a bit limited, I must admit. They're all on the left hand side, which is fine unless you're left-handed, of course. And but there's no USB-C port there, which is a shame. So ports are a little bit limited. Of course, there's no display port as well. Anyway, remember, put in the comments below what you'd like me to test. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.